All right. Hello there, leader, and welcome back to another episode of Leading Daily. My name is Quincy Jackson, and I am your leadership coach. And today, I am extremely excited to share some insight with you. Not only that's going to help you with your leadership, but I hope that it gets you to think about a lot of different things that you've experienced over the course of your life, the way that I have, and I hope that it helps you maybe overcome any challenges and mental barriers that you might be facing as it relates to realizing how powerful you really are, because you are made in the image of God. And not only that, you have the ability to influence, impact, and make a significant difference in the lives of many people who may not yet know you, and probably who already know you but don't yet understand that value that you have to deliver to them. So, have you ever felt like you were just following people just because you were told to follow them? Have you ever felt like you were following people because they were just in positions of authority over you, whether it was in your job, in your home? And have you ever felt like you were following people just because they were older than you? Well, all of those things and all of those ways are what I have felt before in some point in my life. And I'm sure you may have felt something similar as well. Maybe in the past, maybe you're feeling that right now, and you just know for some reason or another, like, this isn't right. Something isn't meshing, something isn't vibing, and I feel like there's something else I should be doing, and there's someone else I should be connecting with that should be leading me in a better way. Now, I'm not saying that you're looking at me as that person, but I'm going to talk about some of those things today in this video. And I hope that once you get more clarity on not only who you are as a leader through what I'm going to share, it helps you go out and make the difference that you need to make in other people's lives. But first, making the difference in your own life by connecting with the right people who can lead you into the transformation and the growth that is already yours and meant to be yours. Okay. So I want you to listen to something very carefully. And I'm going to dive into the subject today of influencing, and then also the subject of growth. Okay. So everyone influences someone. Now, sociologists tell us that even the most introverted individuals will influence 10,000 other people during his or her lifetime. This is an amazing statistic. Each one of us is both influencing and being influenced by others. All of us are either leading in some areas, while other areas we are being led. No one is excluded from being a leader or a follower. Realizing your potential as a leader is your responsibility in any given situation with any given group. There is a prominent leader and a prominent influencer. So, a prominent leader of any group is quite easily discovered, and you'll know this just by thinking about some examples in your own life as I go over this. But just observe people as they gather. If an issue is to be decided, who is the person whose opinion seems most valuable? Who is the one others watch the most when the issue is being discussed? Who is the one with whom people quickly agree? And most importantly, who is the one others follow? Answer to these questions will help you discern who the real leader is in any particular group. So, who is the real leader in your workplace, in your home, and how will that impact the way you lead? So, a lot of things came to my mind as I was reading this again, and I've been writing and reading earlier today specifically, and I started to think about growth and how growth feels when it requires the thing that a lot of people in today's world don't have, and that's patience. So if you were to go outside, depending on when you're watching this video, it could be in the summertime, could be in the fall, could be in the spring. If you were to go outside right now and just cut your grass, maybe you just cut a small patch. You don't even cut the full lawn. Maybe you got a big yard and it's maybe a couple acres or whatever. If you were to go outside and just mow your lawn, and then after you mow it, just sit down and watch the grass grow. Even if you already know it's going to take a week or 2 weeks to get back to the height at which you just cut it down from, wouldn't it feel a lot longer than 2 weeks if you just sat and watched it instead of just letting it do what it does, and going out and doing something else in the meantime? You might say, yeah, I would say it would probably feel a lot longer, but it's still 2 weeks regardless, right? Meaning that the time still passed, you still passed with the time, but the question I have, did you grow along with the grass? Now, that might seem like a simple analogy. It might seem like a silly analogy and a silly story to even tell in this moment. But how many people do you think we have right now in our world, in our country, that are watching other people grow, even as they try to cut them down in many cases? But instead of actually just going out and growing themselves simultaneously while others grow around them, they just sit back and they just observe other people growing instead of actually growing like they should right along with them. And so, as I said earlier, as I was reading to you, everyone influences someone. And many people don't realize that they're influencing people, whether it's through social media posts, whether it's through conversations in their workplace, whether it's through simple conversations haphazardly or passingly in gas stations or malls or wherever they may frequent or go on a frequent or regular basis. But I would say a majority of people don't actually intentionally lead, and also they don't intentionally grow. And so therefore, here we go now, they don't intentionally follow. So my people might say, well, I don't follow anybody. I'm a leader. No, that's not true. That's actually false. You follow someone. You might not think you follow them because you don't consider themselves a leader of your life. But if you're listening to them for information, if you're listening to them for philosophy, if you're listening to them for ideas, if you're listening to them for any reason other than entertainment, honestly, then you're actually being led by that person or those people. So before we start to determine who we want to lead, we first of all want to determine that we're going to lead ourselves in the best way possible by doing the things that we know we should do, when we should do them, how we should do them, and why we should do them. But you also want to make sure that you're intentionally following people that you know can help you and develop you in the right way. It's interesting. I was thinking about this on yesterday as well. I said, how many people actually deliberately invest the time in themselves to help grow in the direction that they choose to be moving toward? And if you work 50 hours a week at whatever you're doing, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're a small business owner, whether you're a manager, so you have a W-2, honestly, nonprofit, it doesn't matter the work that you do per se, because you should be doing something that gives you fulfillment, satisfaction, and joy. Well, that's a conversation for another day. But if you are the type of person that works 50 hours in a week, but you're not also willing to work, I would say 10% of that on yourself, or if you don't even review and reflect on how you're working to make sure you're doing work the right way, and then you're growing into something that you desire to grow into, then really you're just killing the time that you have moving forward, and you're not growing, but the others around you are growing simultaneously. Okay? So that's one thing I would encourage you to do is on a weekly basis, ask yourself, how much work am I doing on myself versus how much work am I doing for others? And I mean, I'm not saying like serving in a leadership capacity. I mean, you're doing something that's taking care of your lifestyle, but is also not getting you closer to your development and helping you develop and grow. Obviously, there's multiple ways that we can do this. We can read books, we can listen to audios, we can do seminars, we can do those things. We can figure out a way to network with the right people who can help us connect even further and faster. I heard someone say before that when you connect with the right people, you can go like a rocket when it comes to your goals, versus if you try to go by yourself, it can take a long time and you might never succeed at it. All right. However, what I want to encourage you to do is be very intentional about the time you're investing in yourself, and then also be more intentional about who you're following as you work to grow yourself on a consistent and almost daily basis. Okay, this is called leading daily. So we want to make sure we're doing that daily if possible. Okay. Now, I would also encourage you to ask yourself, okay, I know I'm leading myself first and foremost. If I'm not leading anybody, I'm leading myself. Now, there's a good thing and a bad thing about that. Almost like everything else, there's a right and a left. That's the law of polarity. But if you only lead yourself for too long, you're simply taking a walk. And walking in many cases by yourself, well, a little while is necessary, I would say, because if you don't work on you when nobody's watching, they won't see who you could be, or you should be when they start looking. Okay. So be intentional about how you develop yourself, be intentional about who you follow, and then be intentional about who you lead. Be very specific. In the beginning, when I started my leadership development journey, which was about 14 years ago, I had no idea who I wanted to lead. I had no idea how to lead myself. I was so accustomed to following whoever looked successful, spoke successfully, or had results in my mind that were of success, that I never really considered, am I actually leading myself in the right direction, in doing the right things? Now, I was around people who were talking better language, speaking a better language, if you will, mentally. I was around people who were reading the books and going to seminars, going to retreats, listening to audios. I was doing all those things, but it wasn't intentional, and it wasn't structured. It wasn't organized. So therefore, I was just going all over the place, honestly, when it came to those kind of activities. So one of the things that's going to help you get more organized in this regard is to, I would say, and I know this is going to be big for a lot of people, but just trust me on this. Stop doing everything for free. Okay? Stop picking up random books. Stop watching random videos. Stop listening to random audios. Start doing things with so much intention and organization that it makes sense why you would grow. It makes sense why you would grow. Now, you don't feel it usually in the midst of the activity, but that's where patience comes in. That's where patience comes in. All right? So what I want to leave you with as I get ready to close is, remember that you are influencing someone every single day. And even the most introverted person in the world will influence about 10,000 people in their lifetime, which means if you probably added a couple zeros on the end of that, the less influential person, the less introverted person and the more extroverted person probably will influence 100,000 to upwards of 1,000,000 people in their lifetime if they're just a little bit more extroverted. Okay. But first it starts by leading yourself. Then it starts by being intentional about who you want to follow. And then it being more intentional about how you want to grow. All right. Start looking for ways that you can invest in yourself by exchanging literally money for the information that you get in a more organized manner. Okay. I would encourage you in today's 2024, start taking courses by people that have already made a huge impact in whatever your industry is that you work. So if they are an industry level expert and they have some kind of course or something where they can share their knowledge in a way that's organized versus just clicking on a YouTube video and going to the person's most recent YouTube video. Like, that's fine for information, but that's not going to help you get deep foundational understanding of whatever it is that you need to become more equipped in to grow in a direction that is ideally in line with your vision for your future and for your life. Okay, that's something that I've been working on deliberately lately, and I wanted to share that with you here in this episode of Leading Daily. So, once again, this is your leadership coach, Quincy Jackson. I'm thrilled to have you here. I'm excited that you have found this video, and if you found it valuable, please leave me a comment and let me know what is it that you've gotten the most from this video. Let me know what it is that you're working on and how you're looking to grow, and I will be there to converse with you in the comments. So I'm excited to connect with you further and hopefully continue to help you in your journey of personal development and leadership. If you're somebody that's new to the channel, as I've said before, we focus on helping people grow into their next promotion in whatever company that they're working with currently. I've worked with multiple individuals in the past. The best example that I have is actually helping somebody earn their first promotion or the next promotion, actually, after working with me within just 45 days. And it was a complete game changer how we helped them to do that. But to help you, if you're not ready to go that fast, and maybe you are, I want you to check the description. We've got a link down there for the 6 biggest mistakes that most leaders make when earning their next promotion. It's a free PDF that you can download at your convenience and read. It's a very short read. I think it might be like 13 pages. But once I discovered the 6th mistake and overcame it, I personally earned my first promotion after that in about 4 months. And I think that I've taught somebody I know to do it faster than that. So it doesn't have to take that long if you're willing to do what it takes to just make the adjustments and focus the right way. So definitely want you to check that out. And I'm looking forward to conversing with you further. This is your leadership coach, Quincy, here, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video. Have a great day.